Okay, so this is my garage. And although it's definitely a bit cramped in here right now, over the next couple of days and weeks, I am going to take you along as I build a full-scale golf simulator right here in the garage. Now, here on the channel, we've built lots of different size and scale golf simulators in offices and friends' homes, but I've always had the dream of building one right here in my own house. Unfortunately though, I'm super limited on space. It really comes down to this garage being the only space I can use, so I've got to make it work. So now obviously there's going to be some hurdles that I'm going to have to overcome if I'm going to fit a full-scale golf simulator in this space. But also keep in mind, this is a garage that I use regularly, my kids use it. So I've also set a couple of very important ground rules for myself as part of this build. The first one is that I have to still be able to get my car in when needed. So that's rule number one. Rule number two for this build is, of course, I don't have an unlimited budget. So I am going to set a limit on this of $5,000. I want to make sure that I can build an entire realistic full bay with projection golf simulator in here, and I've got to do it for under $5,000. And the final constraint is that I have to be able to build at least the majority of this simulator myself, and keep one thing in mind, I am certainly not a handyman. All right, so now that we've clearly defined the rules for this build and we see very visibly some of the constraints and hurdles that are ahead of us, one thing I will tell you is that we are going to make this happen. One way or another, we are going to build a full-scale golf simulator right here in this garage. I'm gonna take you through every single step that I go through, and like I said, hopefully this helps a few of you build some simulators in your own garages. So the next step is just to get this place cleared out, and then after that, the work really begins. All right, I pulled the car out because I want to look at the space and get an idea of where this simulator is going to go. So this is the number one issue with this garage. We've got plenty high ceilings, but this entire door opener, these rails, this motor, they all sit at just 7 feet. Now, like I said, I am no handyman. I don't know why it was originally designed like this. We've got over 9-foot ceilings. Why this hung so low, I'm not sure. But I do have a good garage door guy. I've worked with him before on some small repairs. So I'm gonna call him in and just see if he has any options he can present to me for this. So the hope, we could build it here. The limitation, I mean, you see it, it's this. As it stands, there is just no way to do it. And I would imagine a lot of people who are out there watching this video have the same problem with this thing hanging too low. So I'm gonna call him in, we're gonna see what he says, and let's just hope that we can get this thing higher up and do it within budget. And if we can, we're gonna tell you how we did it so you can do it too. So today I've got a quick and very exciting update for you guys. So I was able to bring in my garage door installer, and I had him take a look at the space and the space requirements. And he actually had 2 really great suggestions for me that I hadn't thought of before, and actually worked out to be quite affordable. Remember, we're gonna keep a tally of all the expenses throughout this whole project so you guys can get an idea of an overall budget. But his first suggestion is also the least expensive one. He said, since you're not bringing your car in here every single day, the cheapest and easiest way would be to convert this system to a manual lift door. So to do that, all they would really need to do is raise the tracks up like we talked about, but they'd be able to remove both the motor and this entire center column. That would give me plenty of room to swing here in the space. And what he said is the door can be easily opened and closed by hand. That's the cheapest option. I'm gonna tell you about the price in just a second. But I'm gonna opt with a little bit more convenience. And this is something I had no idea even existed until I took on this project. And that is the fact that they do sell side mount motors. And the cool thing about this is that the motor will be completely out of the way. It'll be no clearance issues because of where it'll sit. And I'll still get all of the conveniences of having an automatic garage door opener. Now, costs. Let's talk costs. So, I had him split the quote in two for me so we could show both options. And what he had said was the quote to convert to the manual lift, which would be raising the tracks and eliminating the center track like we talked about, is $700. Now, quotes obviously might vary depending on where you are, but hopefully this gives you a ballpark idea of what it might cost if you were to do the job like this one. Now, as far as adding that additional side mount motor, that's an additional $700. So with the options I'm going with, that brings the grand total spend for this project so far up to $1,400. So once that is finished, once the conversion is all done, which shouldn't take more than a couple of hours for the installer, the good news is we get to move on to the most exciting part, which is starting to design, select, and build the simulator in here. So the next time you see this space, it's gonna be much more wide open and we'll be ready to start really building. I'm excited for it. Okay, we are making some significant progress. The overhead door conversion went even better than expected, and now we've got all the room in the world to swing a golf club. So today, we're gonna call our friends over at Play Better. They've been longtime supporters of the channel, and on top of that, we have actually worked with them for a number of other launch monitor and enclosure builds. So these guys definitely know what they're doing. I'm gonna call up my buddy Chris over there. I'm gonna show him the space, and I'm gonna hope that he's got some solution that will not only fit the size in here, but also fit within our budget. So once he sees it, he'll have a little bit better idea of what they can do and hopefully offer up some good suggestions. Chris.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? I'm stoked to show you this because these guys did a great job.
I can see it.
So we were able to raise everything way up with this conversion.
Oh man, even I could swing in there, man. I'm 6'5".
That's right. I can even have tall friends now. And then around this side, like we've got tons of room. So, I mean, just hoping you got a solution for me.
Oh man, I got the perfect thing. I really do.
Now here's the thing though, can I build it? I'm not a handyman. I gotta be able to do it myself.
You do not need to be handy to build this thing. I'm telling you, it is like it's a plug and play, super easy.
Perfect. And then of course, you know the other thing, I've been kind of taking people through it in the video. We gotta be like in our budget.
Totally, and we're good there too. I mean, we got this amazing package that I'm picturing, and it is gonna include all these elements that typically will put other packages over that cost. It's gonna nestle you at a really, really good price point.
I love it. Okay, good. All right, so I'll shoot you over an email with all the final dimensions just to, cross all those T's, dot all those I's, and then we'll get it rocking and rolling and just start building this thing.
Let's do it, man. I'm excited.
I can't wait to show you the final product.
Cool. All right, let's go.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya. All right, guys, some exciting news this morning. So last night, Chris from Play Better emailed me and he said he found the perfect setup for this garage sim build. And even more importantly, he said it's shipping out today. So it should be here in just a day or two. In the meantime, I've got one more exciting thing I want to show you before we do the full build. There's another option here that I think is really cool. So come inside, let me show you what I mean. So I know this is already a budget build, but if you're on a really tight budget, or if you're someone who wants to do this build in phases, maybe do half of it and then save up to do the rest, then something like this is actually a fantastic option as far as a small simulator or just really a practice station. So what I have here is a net, a mat, and a launch monitor, and this is actually something that I've used as a setup in the backyard for years as a place to just practice. And the cool thing is you can do this for just a couple of $100. So we're talking extreme budget here. And Play Better's got a bunch of options for different mats and different nets. And then what we have here is we're using the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, which I think is a fantastic launch monitor for the price. In fact, I don't think there's another one out there that gives you as many features as the Rapsodo gives you for under $1,000. So you're talking about here probably $1,000 all in for this setup. And I think it's a great way if you just want to, like I said, either get started, get something where you can start practicing in the garage, or if you want to start with this and then maybe save up a bit more and then upgrade to the full-blown simulator, which we're going to be building here in just a couple of days. But I thought this was a great opportunity to show you guys one more option, because the reality is there are countless ways to do these builds. So it just comes down to your budget and your imagination. So excited when we get the real build going in just a day or two here. But the nice thing is this at least shows you the basic idea of the layout of where everything will be. It's just gonna look a whole lot cooler once we get it built. So that's the next step. We are getting real close. Okay, today is the day. Everything has showed up, and everything that we need to build our simulator in this garage is right here. So we're gonna open everything up, take you through all the components, and of course, assemble it. And then at the very end, we're gonna run through the entire build cost to see if we were able to meet our goal of staying within budget. So Mike and I are gonna get this all opened up, we're gonna lay it out, and we'll take you through all the components of this sim build. It's the simplest little thing, but I love when things are labeled. It just makes the build take that much less time, you know? So we have built so many of these simulators on the channel, and they all are a little bit different. And this is the first one I've seen where everything is bundled and labeled by size. And whoever out there of you actually boxed this up, let me give you a heartfelt thank you, because you're saving us a lot of time. This is not something you see with every package. This is the heavy stuff. This is the thing you want to be heavy. Whew. All right, guys, we've got everything laid out. So these are the poles that we're gonna use to build the frame. We've also got, importantly, the impact screen, everything that's gonna be catching the balls there. Here we've got both our hitting mat and our mat to cover the whole area, which just makes it look that much better and that much more functional. We've even got some side netting we're gonna look at. I'm gonna save that for later. That's the projector. We're gonna talk about projector and technology later, but the first job that Mike and I have ahead of ourselves is to put these together and start to build the enclosure. You ready, Mike?
Let's do it, man. Can't make it any easier. All right.
If you know your alphabet, you can put this
Exactly.
together. Yeah. Another thing, remember, one of the rules we said, this has to be easy to assemble. I know, and I've seen some people do some fantastic custom builds out there, but that's not me. I'm not cutting any wood. I'm not cutting any metal or custom bending anything. So I'm gonna show you real quick how Mike is snapping this together. This is what I wanted, something that I can easily snap together and doesn't require any special skills or tools.
With these poles in here, that's as high as it's gonna go. So you can now see the footprint of the whole entire sim box. Perfect size, Frank. I mean, you got it right there. So perfect spot, perfect size.
One thing we have learned from doing so many of these is it does help to have two people. Yes, physically, you could probably snap it together yourself, but when we get to those higher up ones, it does help to have a second set of hands. And if you're building this in your garage, I'd imagine you're gonna quickly get popular with your neighbors who want to come over and hit some balls. So I'm sure you'll have no shortage of volunteers to help you out with this, especially if it means they get to take a couple cuts in the new sim, right?
That's the reason I'm here.
All right, so now that we have the frame up, this next part is one of my absolute favorite things about this build, because when it comes to projectors, that's like the #1 thing that's easy to get wrong, because there is a set distance, it's called a throw, that each projector has in order to make the image right. So mounting your projector can require a little bit of technical skill. What they do here that makes your life so much easier is that the projector actually mounts directly to the frame. So there's some poles that we're gonna snap together that where the projector is gonna hang. So that does two things. One, it eliminates the requirement for you to find a mounting spot for your projector and mount it manually. And two, it ensures that the projector is the exact right distance in order to do the proper image for that projector. All right, now that we got our frame up, the next thing is this whole enclosure. It's all one piece. It all attaches mostly by Velcro. So again, it just helps having two guys, but we're gonna start putting this up, wrapping it around the poles, and then it's gonna start to really give it structure. This thing actually has a lot of weight. So that's what's really gonna start to make this thing have, you know, a more serious structure to it. All right, the box is shaping up great. You can see we've got a great size here. The next thing to do is just to hang the impact screen. This is that gives it a little bit of that extra bulk because that's what you're gonna be hitting the golf balls into. It's also a nice clean white, which will give a good image for the projector. So that's Velcro as well. We're gonna strap that up next, and we're getting there. All right, so now we're gonna lay down the turf, which is gonna be great so golf balls aren't bouncing all around in here. Also, my other rule about still being able to get the car in. So as you can see, the way this is with the width, there's plenty of width to park my car in there. It's also plenty of depth. So the only thing I'll need to do when I wanna get my car in is just to basically roll up this and the hitting mat. So again, it's not gonna be something I'm doing daily, but if there's a snowstorm, for some reason I want my car in about 5 minutes of work rolling this up to protect it, I'll be able to pull my car directly in and it'll be super simple. So this is where the projector is gonna mount. Like I said, super simple. The projector just hangs up here and we're just gonna get it aligned. But to me, it's so much easier than trying to mount it from the ceiling or somewhere else because that requires a little bit more handiwork. All right. Now we're gonna just adjust this with the screws. I'm gonna put it in a second. And like I said, there's a million different projectors out there. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, but this one is spec'd out for this exact distance. The brightness should be really good. We're gonna pop it on and see, but you can always kind of make your room darker, blackout curtains, whatever you need. Obviously, the brighter, the more expensive it goes. So this is like middle of the road, which like I said, we're trying to stay within budget, and I think we're still gonna get a nice, bright image. So we'll pop this thing on in a second. I'm just gonna finish getting it secured up here and we're gonna be good to go. All right, now comes the exciting part. Let's talk about the technology really quick. So one thing I'll say is that our friends Chris and the guys over at Play Better did a fabulous job piecing this all together, speccing everything out, and making sure we're within our budget. I'll do a full budget breakdown, including I've got a couple of surprises and extras I'm gonna show you as well, some options in just a second. But for our technology, there are a lot of different options. And there's some great ones out there. There's SkyTrack, there's Foresight, of course, but in order to stay in our budget and meet our goals of accuracy, we're gonna go with the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro for this build. And there's a few reasons for that. The first reason is that it's super accurate. We've done a number of tests here on the channel. I'll link to those videos. We put this head to head against some pro level, much more expensive launch monitors, including the Foresight GC Quad. And what we found were that the numbers for spin, ball speed, carry distance were spot on. So accuracy, that box is checked. Second, price, incredible price. This is a sub $1,000 unit, so it's gonna help us keep this entire build within our overall budget. And then the last thing is that it's highly, highly portable. So it serves me multiple uses. It's not just something that is gonna be stationary here in the garage for the sim. It's very portable. I can pick this up and take this with me anywhere, driving range, otherwise. So it's so much more than a sim. One thing I will say though is you do need to connect to some sort of device, something that you're gonna pair this with. Now, we're not including that in our overall budget for a very specific reason. And that reason being is that I already own an iPad, which is what I'm going to be using, but the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro, another reason why we like it, it works with just about any Android or iOS device. So I'm going to assume that you've got access to one. That could be your phone or it could be a tablet. And if not, there are a number of inexpensive, especially the Samsung units on the Android side, tablets that you can pick up for around 200 bucks. So it'll add a little bit to your budget. For me, I don't need it because I've already got the iPad, but let's get this all connected, get it on the projector, and you're gonna really start to see this thing come together. All right, here it is, moment of truth. We've got everything set up. I'm gonna take you through everything, even show you some of those options. I got a little surprise for you to make this a multi-use space. And then I also wanna talk about the budget, of course, to see if we were able to come in a budget. And then most importantly, how you can do this yourselves, because the real important part to me was sharing this concept so that you guys can build your own setup. So first and foremost, we now have the hitting mat set up. This, what I like about it, nice and thick. So if you're taking a lot of swings, we did an entire video on mats. There's a lot of different mat options out there, but here was finding that wheelhouse of both affordability and usability. But you can just see the difference in the thickness versus this mat. You're hitting a lot of balls, you want something like this. Now, of course, we've got our whole hitting bay set up here. We've got the projector we talked about, which is mounted to the bay itself. No additional mounting was needed. One thing you will notice, it does take up the entire screen from left to right. That's what we talked about, having it the right distance. There is a little bit of space. That comes down to aspect ratio. Remember I talked before, it depends on the device you used. So there might be a little bit of extra borders depending on your overall aspect ratios. Speaking of which, what we're powering this with is my iPad. And for convenience, I ended up picking up this little mount that we put on the wall. I'll link to that in the video description as well. I ended up getting that off of Amazon. I think it was 20 bucks. It's optional. You do not need it if you're really tight on budget, but I think it's fantastic to have. Makes things just so much easier. The other thing is HDMI cord. We've got that running from the projector cleanly around the back and to our iPad. And on here, very importantly, I'll link to this as well. If you are going to be using an iPad or this is a USB-C device, there is an adapter that you need that takes it from HDMI to USB-C. If you're using a different connection with your mobile device, make sure you get the right one. I'll link to this one. They're very easy to find. Other than that, we've got the Rapsodo set up here. The Rapsodo, the good news is it doesn't need that much space. All we needed was about 8 feet of total travel here, and we've got about 6 feet to the device. Obviously, we've done some extensive videos on Rapsodo, so I won't get into too much detail here. I will link to those videos in the video description. You can go and check those out if you're more interested in the fine details of how the Rapsodo works. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Like I said, I have one more surprise for you guys. This is kind of my own additional take on it. I wanted to make sure that this space was really something I could use for overall game improvement. A while back, Mike and I did a challenge with Golf Forever system. We did a 30-day challenge, and we found that it really helped our overall golf fitness. So I've been doing it since then, but I've never really had a great place to do it. So now that I've got this space, what I ended up doing, and I'll link to this as well, for about 70 bucks, they've got this multiple anchor unit. And also it's a great way for storing your Golf Forever. And now I can use this space to do my Golf Forever workouts in addition to working on my game. So it's really a spot where this just becomes my grind area. And I just thought it was a smart idea of using this as like kind of a multi-use space. So let's talk about that final piece of the puzzle, which is the price. Like I said, we met our goals of being able to fit the car in here. We met our goal of it being simple to put together. The total elapsed time today it took Mike and I to snap everything together here was about 2 hours. Like I said, we did it with very minimal, maybe hand tools for a couple things, but it just snapped and Velcroed together. So that's super easy. So we gave PlayBetter a challenge of bringing this under $5,000, and they were able to put everything together for a great price of just about $4,700. But we wanted to push a little bit more and really make it affordable for you guys. So they were generous enough to give us an additional 10% discount. I will put the coupon code and the discount code information in the video description. Make sure you guys use that. You'll get an additional 10% off. So huge thanks to PlayBetter for doing that for us. Now remember, I personally spent a little bit extra because I had to do some modifications to my garage. So $700 additional was to raise up this garage door. That for me was a requirement. And even with that, we are still under our total budget target of $5,000. Where we did, however, go a little bit over was in some of the options. And you're gonna have to weigh this on your own case-by-case basis, whether you need them or not. I did end up spending an additional $700 for the lift system that's gonna make this door automatic. Like I said, I have kids, I don't want them physically lifting it, but I don't imagine a lot of in and out in this bay. So I do not consider it required, but keep that in mind if you want to do it, that's the additional spend. I also spent 70 extra bucks on the Golf Forever mounting system. But all told, we're able to do this whole thing right in that budget we wanted. And as you can see here, guys, we've got a real simulator setup. We've got a huge projection, and we've got a space now that I can work on my game. Come on!
That's gotta be a good sign, huh? You just hold out in your own garage sim.
That's a good sign! Come on!